This isn't a rumor, and it's not a small move. Star Wars is officially in a new leadership era. For a franchise this massive, leadership doesn't just shape projects, it shapes tone, trust, and whether fans feel confident about what's coming next. Because every major shift in Star Wars history, good or bad, has always traced back to who was steering the ship and what they believe Star Wars should be.
Are you honored to take?
All right, so here's why this leadership change matters. Star Wars isn't short on ideas, that's for certain. It's been navigating direction, movies, streaming services, animation, and spin offs have all pulled the franchise in slightly different ways over the last few decades. New leadership means a chance to realign the vision, to decide what Star Wars prioritize, how connected everything should be, and what kind of stories actually define the future of the galaxy. This isn't about erasing what comes before, it's about whether the next phase finally feels cohesive. Hold on. So let's put this to you. Jump into the comments. Do you think Star Wars needs a clear creative reset under new leadership, or should it build steadily on what's already working? Type reset or build in the comments down below.
Status check. Multiple reliable trade and industry reports say Kathleen Kennedy is out, leaving her role as president of Lucasfilm in January of 26. The main source is Puck's 26 predictions, which say Disney will formally announce her exit in the next week or two. Outlets such as Game Radar, World of Real, /Film, Inside the Magic, etc. are all repeating the same. Kennedy is stepping down. Dave Filoni, I apologize if I butchered that, and Linwin, these names, are set to replace her as co-presidents. So it's not yet a Disney press release, but at this point, it's a heavily corroborated done deal. Everyone expects to be made official very, very soon. New leadership and why they're taking over Dave Filoni, creative side. Current role is Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilms since 23. His new role, reported and speculated, co-president of Lucasfilms in charge of all Star Wars creative direction across films, Disney Plus TV shows, and other platforms. He has a background in handpicked by George Lucas himself to helm the Clone Wars animated series, created Clone Wars Rebels and is a major creative force behind The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew. Oh man, still got some, okay. He has a nice pedigree. In practice, Filoni becomes the Kevin Feige, oh my god, creative boss of Star Wars, the final say on canon direction, tone, and what stories get made. Lynn Brennan, business/exec side, his current role is president and general manager of Lucasfilm's business. New role, again, co-president of Lucasfilm, handling business operations, budgets, deals, production, logistics. What happens to Kennedy? Well, she's stepping down as president, not retiring from movies altogether. Kennedy has previously said she is not retiring. She will never retire from movies, and that's been talked about with Bob Iger and Alan Bergman about Succession for some time. No, she really should retire. Her and Bob Iger should both go, but hey, that's my opinion. Current reporting says she will likely move into a more focused producer role. She shouldn't touch anything. Step back from day-to-day management of Lucasfilm. So she's leaving the captain's chair, but still expected to be around Hollywood and possibly still around Star Wars in the producer capacity. They should just really just let her go. Just trim the fat. But we'll get to that in a minute. A quick look back at Kennedy's tenure. High points were Force Awakens had a $2 billion box office. Rogue One, widely considered the strongest Disney-era film. That's a little pushing it. Push prestige TV like Andor, which critics and many fans consider a major creative win. Yeah, they did need that. Problems and criticism. All right, the juicy. The sequel trilogy felt like it lacked a unified plan with different directors pulling in conflicting directions. Even J.J. Abrams has admitted there was no fully mapped out trilogy roadmap. Huge number of announced but canceled projects, the Boba Fett movie, the Benioff and Weiss trilogy, Rogue Squadron, and more, creating a vibe of development hell and no clear long-term strategy. Box office fatigue, diminishing returns, $2 billion, 1.3, $1 billion. Disney Plus era brought quantity but mixed quality. quality, with shows like The Acolyte, woo, and others drawing polarized reactions and contributing to brand confusion for casual viewers. In short, massive commercial success plus big missteps, and fans are deeply, deeply split on the legacy. What does this mean for Star Wars content? The next movie up is The Mandalorian, and probably pronounced that wrong. The first Star Wars film since 2019. Damn, it's due in May 22nd of this year, co-written by Filoni. Expect this project to be front and center of the new era. Existing series and productions, the Andor Season 2 and Ahsoka Season 2 will carry through, but future seasons and spin-offs will largely live under Filoni's unified creative umbrella. TLDR, yes, Star Wars is effectively getting new leadership. Kathleen Kennedy stepping down, good riddance, and will be formally announced to be expected soon. Filoni and Brennan will become co-presidents. Take over. Kennedy ain't gone, but she's just moving away. She needs to be gone. I may not be the hugest Star Wars person, but I can tell you this. Under her leadership, and they point out money made, which Star Wars is a money generator, people have never been so upset, confused, and just outright appalled with the franchise with her taking over. From the controversy with The Force Awakens, and I can't remember the actor's name, the black guy. His role was handled in international theaters, to the controversy with the Acolyte, things she has said about Star Wars and everything. We're not a political show, but I'm just gonna keep this quite. Your beliefs, keep them to yourselves. They are not a chance for you to inject them into already based narratives just to express yourself. That is not the point of. I do love Star Wars. I like Andor, and I would love to see what goes on. It is a shame that Boba Fett movie got canceled. Totally fucking forgot about that. I know people who have full-on sleeve tattoos of Boba Fett and Jango Fett and all of that. But Trace, how are you feeling about this? What do you feel about,
Uh,
a new Star Wars era coming up, her stepping down, just in general?
you said a lot. Let me just say that I have been one of the people that has been ultra fatigued by the Star Wars iterations, whatever you want to call what's been coming out ever since that one Star Wars that had the lady fucking floating outside of space, and she came back in, and she died during the recording of the movie, and so it was just. And then bringing back, oh boy, and then they had that scene at the end of the movie where they were staring at each other on the island after she found him for like 30 fucking minutes. I'm like, what is happening here? This is not being dramatic. This is not making the scene better. It's actually quite awkward. Why are they staring at each other and not saying anything? Yeah, so I've been very, very exhausted with the Star Wars brand. This is one of the brands where I feel like Disney has literally sucked the life out of Star Wars, all because of money hungry tactics. They wanted to
Mm-hmm.
squeeze everything out of this shit, and it fatigued the people that originally was around when the story was first told, way back in the 70s and all that, and stuck around for the little prequel movies that were in the 90s. And so they really just pissed on a lot of fucking Star Wars fans, and they did a lot of things that pissed motherfuckers off, because like my cousin stated, a lot of these characters are already established. They're already who they are. You cannot then eject some, I don't know, some agenda onto these some of these characters. And I say all that to say that some of this shit just really went off the rails. Some of the movies felt unnecessary to make. I know there was one, I can't even think of the names. I'll put them on screen if I feel like it's relevant, but some of the movies just didn't seem like it needed been made. Didn't they make Hollow? What's his name? Damn, I can't even say his fucking name. The dude with the
Han
patch.
Solo. Han
Han
Solo.
Solo. They made a Han Solo prequel for what reason? And then they left it
I
to
forgot all
die.
about that.
Yeah, they didn't even do anything after it. So it kind of was just like, what was the point? It didn't make enough money. That's when Star Wars stopped making the big returns, because people was just like, why are you doing this? Yeah, I'm very much fatigued. The only thing that got me to watch something that was Star Wars was The Mandalorian. Even The Mandalorian at one point, because it took so long for it to come back. I forgot. I haven't even watched the latest Mandalorian season, just because it just took them so long to make and release. So I'm just somebody who's very fatigued, they would have to really move mountains and earth for me to be even have the shit on my radar to watch. But maybe with the change of leadership, maybe they can do something and then make something cohesive, because that report of saying they didn't even have nothing mapped out, that just means you was out here just trying to do quick money grabs here and there, and they backfired. So Star Wars needs to be handled with a much better care, or whoever the lady was. And I'm not even saying she made all the decisions, but it was under her leadership that this franchise has been fucking ran into the ground, and therefore, hopefully, the next person would try to rebuild. Maybe they would be like, "Hey, the movies finito. That shit don't exist." Maybe they can do a full flash reboot and say all that shit that we did with old girl and old boy. That shit don't matter. All right, we'll starting over. We starting from fresh, and make something that's worth watching in 2026 that's coming from this franchise. But so yeah, that's all I got. Like, hopefully they'll do better under new leadership. But as it stands right now, I could care less about Star Wars, and I really never thought I would say that. And the only thing Star Wars I'm actually looking forward to is the Star Wars Old Republic Old Faith game that's coming out in like 2 years. So maybe that can jumpstart me to get some interest in the franchise, because as it stands right now, I could care less. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment about Star Wars. But let me
Not
know in the
not even the
comments below.
Mandalorian movie?
Like I just said, I
Man,
haven't even watched the latest season of Mandalorian. Like, so I'm not even caught up. I don't even know what the movie would be about at this point. And who's to say it's gonna be good? Like I said, I've seen like 3 Star Wars movies that really left me questioning what the fuck did I just watch? Yeah, I'm very pessimistic. And it already takes me so much to get to the fucking theaters. Now, if you ask me, will I watch this on Disney Plus when it comes to, yeah, I'll throw it a bone.
hell
I'll
yeah.
watch it. Going to the movies though, that shit. I just don't see how they can get me to the movie theaters as it stands as of today. But let me know in the comments how you feel. If I'm just being too hard on Star Wars, do you think this is a good idea on this new leadership? Would this get you back into a movie theaters for a Star Wars movie? It's gonna take a lot for me personally. But let me know in the comments down below.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?